people who are shaking hands.
Hey everyone, I'm Radhika and we are going to discuss about who are the best, private sector and public sector. So public sector is the best because sector do work for the people to help. They very help when we talk about for loan and education. So it is a big role of public sector. So that's why public sector is best. Now Aditya will start.
She was I am elaborating her point. She was saying that for startups, if someone wants to start your own business, so government public sector provide them loan for very small interest. But if there will be private sector is very expensive. So for startup of the business, for example, one person has to start his own business and he takes loan from private sector. The private sector charge high interest of amount from that that person. So that's why public sector is good than private sector.
Hi guys, good evening everyone. So it's me Arya. So today I'm going to oppose. Today we are going to discuss what is better, public or private. So we are in a private. So in private sector we have opportunity, we have unlimited jobs. That if people in government sector we don't have, we should only most of the probably educated people should apply for the government job. In a private sector, they are if the people is uneducated, he wants job, he has a need of job, so he can also apply for a job in private sector. And we have too many we have too many jobs in private sector comparatively to public sector.
In private sector, job security is that they can remove their client and workers from their job if they need money, and they can apply for job and they get. But after some time they can remove their workers from their jobs. In private sector, job security is less.
So if people is capable, so he can also apply for another job.
In private sector, there is no increasement of salary, but in public sector there is an increasement in salary and also promotion.
But she says private sector increase promotion.
Public sector.
But nowadays private sector is a good and many people work in public sector and he work good and best and his मतलब जो वो क्या बोलते हैं प्राइवेट उनको ओनर ही कंपनी के ओनर को CEO company he see and he is a good work, he is a increase in promotion and he gives a good salary and many facilities. In the private sector is a good.
Government sectors provide many schemes like Beti Bachao Beti Padhao and Swachh Bharat Abhiyan backward peoples are very not afford private sectors but afford government sectors schemes and farmers not afford private sectors only easily get yes,
Get their opportunity.
वो but no work but no work this slogan बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ स्वच्छ भारत अभियान
No one has done work on that.
And no clean.
Why the farmers are strike on the dairy road in NMC company?
As he said that no one is get opportunity from Beti Bachao Beti Padhao and Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, but in many government schools and in private schools also many girl child who is not affordable of the high fees of schools, many private schools also started Beti Bachao Beti Padhao in public sector. As all the public schools, as all the government schools are having Beti Bachao Beti Padhao, so they are giving admission on the basis of that. Fees is less for the girl child. In last year or in Gora public school, the girl child fees is negligible, and that's.
Nowadays, private sector in children's best study and provide मतलब जो प्राइवेट स्कूल्स होते हैं मतलब प्रोवाइड मतलब
बेस्ट एजुकेशन
उनकी बेस्ट एजुकेशन के लिए उनकी फीस माफ कर देते हैं मतलब and study and private sector gives loans and many things
allowance money bhutta.
Aditya, as you say, if a poor child studying government sector, he can negligible his fees. My friend studied private school and his father was passed out, and his teacher, his principal didn't take fees for 3 years. So private sector is best.
But it is exception because his father is passed out from that school. If someone is, for example, like in private schools like DPS, fees of 11-12 is around 1 lakh to 1,50,000 per year. So if all the educational sector got privatization, so where will the poor get admission? Because poor are not able to afford the fees around 30,000 also per year, but that's why they are in government schools, because government schools are also providing their midday meal schemes and educational and for education. If all the education sector got privatization, it is not good for poor. Where will the poor study?
But we have many schools like state schools. They take very less fees.
and poor people go and study there.
But whole the country not depend only some schools because when we talk about children in India, its education system, in private sector is very highest, his fees very highest, and but when we talk about government sector, government give every children to take chance that he take admission and get to know how to improve ourselves, like a reservation, SC and SC category children. I also belong SC category. When I take admission in Delhi University, I am very I just think that how I manage, because in my classmates was very highly, they get very high education, get knowledge higher. But after some time, I improved myself, and the result is means सर ये कैसे कहेंगे कि हम ये कैसे कर पाए?
How we managed.
How we manage that government give to chance, and then I take admission in government and
Okay, she is saying she has improved her financial condition and she has improved herself and she has done wonderful in her life because of government sector. Because she got the opportunity because of government sector. She got admission there. She got some subsidy in education and she got some other schemes because of government schools and government things. She is saying these kind of things are not given in private sector.
Okay.
Yes, please.
You are talking. You are like government sector is government school is best, but in 3 sector, boys school, those the boys take NCC. The teacher of that school will the teacher of that school did plug the ground of that school, and they talk very बहुत वैसे बात करते हैं गाली कर
Nowadays is a solar
government sector, the people use like bad language. But in private sector, I also study in like private school, and like the condition of private schools are also like bad. They show they are bad, they are rich, and they behave rude with others. And if they are punished, like if they are teacher taken to like principal, they will relieve because they are giving money to them. And the principal like maaf kar deta hai, they forgive to student, and after the student they are abusing language. And in private sector there are many cases of like bad things, and in comparison of government schools, in private school students do like abuse in classroom and nobody stop them. If someone complained, if they will go to principal also forgive him because their parents are giving money.
in private schools मतलब private school all parents gives permission कि कोई बच्चा मतलब गलत मतलब तो
Nobody will do something wrong.
and you punishment मतलब
Okay, you are saying in private school
parents मतलब
parents are giving permission to school if my child does something wrong, beat and punish my child.
Nobody will say
but
this.
government not approve in government school you punish children and मतलब government approve नहीं करती कि
In government school punishment cannot be used.
तो इसलिए बच्चे मतलब abusing and wrong मतलब wrong behavior में चलते हैं
Okay.
भाई private में हो रहा है.
Okay, wait. No Hindi. Beta, no Hindi.
but private sector suspended and go out in school but government sector
Nobody will suspend.
अरे यार तुम क्या बात कर रहे हो बहुत स्टूडेंट से बड़ा गवर्नमेंट स्कूल कोई भी गवर्नमेंट स्कूल को बालक abusing या गलत कोई बात कहेगा तो हमें सस्पेंड ना कर सके गवर्नमेंट
They are saying right that if somebody is doing anything wrong, even the teacher, staff and student, they are doing something wrong in school, there is no one to take action against them. But if you do anything wrong in private sectors, they are going to take action against you. They are going to investigate you and suspend you. Even they are saying right, even teachers are responsible for the growth of children. In government school there is no responsible. If your child fails, you cannot ask teachers that how he failed. But if your child fails in private sector, in private school, you can ask your teachers how did he fail. ये fail कैसे हो गया? It was your responsibility to teach him.
don't speak Hindi, only speak English.
Okay, yes beta.
In private sector, the manager force their workers to hard work. They can't manage the foolish things. He was anger. He was satisfied. He was सर अपने को निकालने के लिए मतलब जो उसके सर नीचे वर्कर्स होते हैं उनको सर पनिश करता है सर, उनकी सैलरी कट कर लेता है सर, जैसे एक दिन सर लीव ली तो सैलरी कट एंड सर बट public sector they can explain him he is a problem but he can agreed
He is saying in private sector there is no one to understand your problems, that how are you suffering. They do not care about your personal problems, how are you suffering in your personal life. If your daughter is sick, they do not care, you have to work here. But he is saying if you are in a public sector, they can understand you, you can apply for a leave and you will get a leave, you can go to your daughter. But in private sector, nobody cares, nobody gives a damn.
But in private sector, private sector provides perk like beneficial such as medical coverage and insurance, etc.
Better try to elaborate the points actually. Try to speak in your own language. You have got that they are giving many facilities in public sector. Just elaborate. Okay, we have Shivam here.
So how we see that my mother also do a job in private sector and he take leave when have a problem and have a disease. They also give a leave and give permission to take leave for 1 month.
They are saying
And after they take on the job. Yes.
They are saying that leaves are being given everywhere in every company, whether it is a private or public. Okay, they are saying even in private companies they are giving leaves. Some like वो sick leaves होती हैं, ठीक है, holidays leave होती हैं, some personal leaves होते हैं, they are providing. And he has given personal example of his own mother.
Even in my dad's company, the CEO has given him a flight ticket, so he can even wonder. Because he didn't even cut my dad's salary. He took he said
Purchase.
He purchased a flight ticket with his own money. He didn't even cut the salary from my dad's income. And even my dad took too much holidays for us, and their salary is his CEO didn't cut his salary. Even from one week, my dad was on leave.
They are saying in private sector there are many things are being given to employees, many facilities, even they are giving many kind of trips to the people, holiday trip. Okay, they are giving some like kind of trainings and seminars. But in government sector, who is giving you any kind of training and seminars? But they are sending you to foreign countries, even to different states for training. But in private sector there is no training, there is no seminar, there is no holiday trip.
So, even in the, as you talk about in the public sector, you can take leave. Even my aunt who has come here, she worked in a public sector, and she took a leave. She went to her boss and she request them to take a leave for 1 week, but they didn't. For 1 week, not for 4 weeks, for 4 days. He denied her and said you have just 2 days, you have to go and come back from there. Even in the public sector, we don't have allowance to go. We don't have that much. What we say?
You are bound to work.
We are bound to work. Yeah.
In public sector, like in as you have said that in private sector they are giving money for trips, and but in government sector they are giving like if a person is bank PO in SBI bank, he gets money even to fill his scooty petrol or car diesel. They have to work on time like 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. But in private sector there is no fixed limit of time. If clients from outside arrives in private sector, you have to work for 3 to 4 hours more. And there are many incentives and perks which we get in public sector, like pension. We get pension in government sector, and seventh pay commission. We are getting seventh pay commission in government sector. We are not getting seventh pay commission in private sector. And in private sector. In private sector, as responsibility increases, tension also increases, because we have in private sector we have if salary increases, the person has to do more responsibility, and in last a person only want peace in life, and you don't get peace in private sector, you get peace in government sector only.
Okay, we have Sham here. Sham, what do you want to say here?
Can you start?
Okay, what he is trying to say, in private sectors you are exploited, workers, employees are exploited. Suppose you have timing of 8 hours, but you will have to work for the 10 hours and 12 hours, because if you do not work, they will fire you, they will exploit you. But if you do not work, if you deny in public sector, that my time is 9 to 5 and I am going now, you can go. But if you deny in private sector, they will fire you, they will ask you to do, and you will have to work for 2 hours extra. आपको करना पड़ेगा. But in government sector,
it is also good for those person. You can accept long working hours in private sector than public sector. If you are a kind of person who want to achieve a work and life balance, a job in public sector is more recommended, and you can get more money as such as overtime.
but say you did not understand his point. He is saying ultimately at last what we need peace. We need peace. You find the peace in government sector, in public sector. You are not forced to work for long hours. But if you are in a private sector, you will have to work a lot like a horse, day and night.
As he says, sir, that if a client comes, so we have to do overwork, but it's not like that. In my dad's company, he is also like that. But if a client has come, he have allowance that he can go before the time, and my dad also do that. And if I talk about the public sector, so in my, just I talk about a while ago, I talk about my aunt. She had to do overwork. She's in a public sector, and she had to do overwork. That's it.
In a private sector, many companies cut their salary in this lockdown, but full salary people got in lockdown in public sector.
In lockdown, Deepak's father is a work in a government sector, but he goes a 24-hour job, मतलब 24 घंटे मतलब
He was working for 24 hours.
But his salary not gives a fixed time, not and मतलब कोई टाइम नहीं था, मतलब 2-2 महीने हो जाते, मतलब सैलरी आया और मतलब 24 घंटे तो रहना ही था, मतलब 24 hours in मतलब ड्यूटी पे रहना था.
And the doctors also got not their salaries in.
Okay, they are making a point here that in public sector you get the salary, full salary. But they are saying no, it is not true at all. During the lockdown, people did not get their full salaries, and doctors, nurses are on strike. They are not getting the salary for 4 months and 5 months.
And teacher salary and half 60 and 30 give.
Even I agree with their point. Even my sister is working. She is the nurse. She got a half salary because she is working in a private sector. But he is also giving example like in government sector, people did not get their full salary.
In private sector, job security is there, but only for the big employees, like who is in a good post, who is a helper, like a helper in private sector does not have a fixed permanent job. He can when there is his work, when there is help, he can the employees can call him and give him salary. But if the market down and company situation is not so good, he can remove from the company. But in government sector, a simple peon is also having a very much importance in society.
Even it is a plus point as well as a negative point. Even a peon is having its own importance in government job. It has its own significance. उसके खुद के significance है वहाँ पे. But if मतलब एक जो क्लर्क है वो भी एक दामाद की तरह काम कर रहा है. He is working like a king in government job. But even you are in a public sector, you are a manager, you do not feel like a manager. आपको manager सा feel नहीं होता है. We have Shivam. Yes,
So
Shivam.
nowadays government not give a many jobs to youngsters, and nowadays sir, after 1 week ago the CM of Haryana says that
Don't trust, don't believe.
in government jobs, because government are not providing jobs to in 1 year, and the youngsters who can preparation of UPSC and other exams who do the private jobs. So don't trust and don't believe them.
Okay, they are saying government has openly said and given statement, do not rely on us that we are going to provide you government job, because for 1 year we are not going to have any vacancies for the youth. So it is a kind of a threat and a big problem to the people and students. Those are having the education for competitive exam. Even they are investing a lot. They are paying huge fees and taxes.
When some people give money to fill up a form of any exam, sometimes government cancel it, and money are waste and in a pocket on government.
Well done. They have raised a very beautiful point that in like public sector is looting the people, they're deceiving the people. What the government is doing, they are saying that we have vacancies. They have said we have 1 lakh vacancy, and the form of the cost of one form is like 500.